Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Reviewed by the Sotong sisters, Delia and Jazz. We are here to talk about the latest episode, episode 9 of This Is Us. Hope you guys were able to watch. If you haven't, pause, hold on, go watch it, catch up, and then you can press play and join us. So how'd you feel about this episode, Jazz?
I feel like it was cool, like overall solid episode. I really did like how they meshed together the past and present with all the new babies. So like showing the moms from like everybody in the family basically.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then like another thing that I saw online was like Mandy Moore just had a baby in real life. So it like coincided perfectly this week with the episode. So that was really cool.
I thought that was cool too. I was like, I didn't even know she was pregnant. They did a good job of hiding that, I guess, earlier on in the season.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. I love being able to see all the different couples, the history of the car seat. I thought that was like a really good, story piece that they put in there from, Jack and Rebecca and the car seats they had then to, what they have now. I just thought that was a really cool like piece that they put in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was actually like really into this episode. I really liked that they had a piece of just about everybody, I do love when, we get like a Randall episode.
Yeah.
Like, those are my favorites, but I think they did this one really well in like covering everybody's world.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, whoever casts this show, I don't know who the casting people are, but they're amazing because every time I feel like the grown-up versions of Deja and Annie are like spot on.
Yes, I thought the same thing. They did so good with that.
I was like, that's Deja. Like before we even said anything, I was like, that's Deja. Like I just knew instantly who it was because they've done such a good job of casting.
Yeah.
And even with the, the big three that we've seen over the decades, they've just done a really good job of finding, the right fit for each kid.
Yeah. So, definitely. Grown up Deja had the look, she had the accent down, the mannerisms. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
I loved it. I loved it. Even Annie, like as soon as she opened the car door, I was like, that's Annie. Like it just made sense. It just made sense.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really fun. It kind of makes me sad though, because I know where they're going. I feel like I know where they're going with the ending of the series, like the whole thing, which I think we subconsciously, we kind of knew what it was going to be. But I think every time they show us a flash forward, it gets more and more clear that that's where we're ending. And knowing that they essentially only have one more season, like next season, season 6 will be the last one. That they're just going to keep dropping little flash forwards, to prepare us.
I know. And I go back and forth if I prefer that, like a show to end with only a handful of seasons and have it end on like a good note where the viewers want more, versus Grey's Anatomy, where it's been 20, 30 years we've been watching this show. And it's such a roller coaster because sometimes it's trash and then you're a loyal fan, so you got to keep watching. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I agree. I do go back and forth. Like, I know that when it's done, I'm going to want more.
Yeah.
But I think I will be, depending on how they do it, which they've done everything really well so far. So I have, pretty decent expectations that they'll end it really well too. I was thinking about this today. I was like, I hope that they don't do anything too corny where we see Rebecca like meet Jack, like in her dreams before she passes. Like, I don't want any of that because I feel like while we know that Jack and Rebecca are like the greatest love story ever, I think that it would do kind of like a little bit of a dishonor to who she is now and like her relationship with Miguel now. You know what I mean? To have her like die and then be with Jack.
Yeah.
Like what does that say to the latter years of her life with Miguel? I feel like that would be disrespectful of him.
Yeah.
in a relationship. And then I just feel like it'd be really corny. But I don't know.
You've thought farther ahead than I have.
I
Of
know.
course you
I
have.
went all the way to the end. I was like, what is the last episode gonna be like? I went all the way to the end.
Yeah, those are all good thoughts, definitely. And they do such a good job of hooking the viewers and like bringing us in that, all this speculation, it's what they want. Like they want people to kind of guess and speculate and all this because it makes watching the show that much more like fun and engaging. So, yeah, lots of thoughts.
I agree. I agree. I was wondering too, I know that we had an episode where we saw like adult Randall with Jack. Like that, there was that one episode where they were at the cabin and Randall was doing some kind of work at the cabin and like he saw, quote unquote, saw his dad, like saw Jack. And I was trying to remember if this was the first time that we've had adult Kevin see Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I know we've had a lot of flashbacks with like younger Kevin and Jack, but I don't think we've had adult Kevin and Jack. I think this was probably the first time, if I'm remembering that right. If I'm not, y'all can let us know. But I think this was the first time, and I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah.
That, the first time that he sees him is when he's, just got these two newborns at home and he's trying to figure out what this is gonna be. And I loved what Jack said. Like, I've been trying, I lived my whole life trying not to be my father. And you've been living your whole life trying to be your father. And that doesn't work for either one of us. Like you just gotta be you. You just gotta find out what you want and then be you.
Yeah.
I thought that was really powerful.
That was really cool. And then the other thing that he said, he was like, we both wasted a lot of time like being terrified, like both of us. And I was like, that is a word. Like you do waste time in your life just like being scared or being in your head and like not being fully present or living or making decisions. So when he said, I was like, Jack came through with a word, okay? He preached. It was so good. But yeah, that scene was really cool and I enjoyed that interaction for sure.
I still don't think that him and Madison have a lot of chemistry. It just doesn't work for me. It still feels like it falls flat.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, obviously they have twins, so they're going to try to make it work, which is cool. I get that. I respect that. But I just don't see it.
I don't know. I struggled with the whole, wait, what's her name again?
Madison.
I don't know why I always forget her name.
I had to look it up when I was
okay. Thank you. I struggled with their post delivery, like going home. First of all, she looked as skinny as she did before. I'm like, that's just so not realistic. Like, okay. She looked like super skinny, super put together, like super fine, and then the whole proposal and then him ripping off the hospital bracelet and putting like it just didn't work. And you're right, they have no chemistry, like none. No. And so for me it just felt kind of forced and artificial. I didn't really buy it.
Right.
I don't see them just because they have babies like all of a sudden they're in love, they want to get married. Like it's not working for me. So I wish they would have taken a different direction with that story, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Or just found someone that he has chemistry with. Like like why put him with Madison? It's just not working,
Yeah.
It could have been anybody else that he had chemistry with. It just didn't, I don't know. But because then it's like you see that and then you see even Kate and Toby. You know what I mean? Like they have fun together. They have chemistry. They build each other up. They support one another. They're there for one. Like you see that, see the depth,
Yeah.
And like when he was scared to tell her about his job, and she was there, which I'm sure maybe we'll see some ripple effect of that later. But, in the moment, her strength for him was there, and I really appreciated that. I just, I thought that was, I'm just not feeling it.
I don't buy it. And then too, when he was driving home from the hospital, about to fall asleep and all about to get into it, I was like, if you crash this car, I'm coming through the TV with these newborns.
Like, sir,
I was like, I can't get it together. Or they should have took an Uber from the hospital, like something. It just, come on now.
It's 2021. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? How did you feel about Kate and Toby bringing home their baby and like their birth mom being like, I don't want to be a part of this. I can't, like, I just can't can't do it right now.
Yeah, I felt that. I mean, the car ride with the birth mom was just cringeworthy. Like Toby and Kate, especially Kate, like doing the most in the back seat, trying to talk, trying to do. I was like, read the room, read the car. Like, it's not the time to be hype. Like, no. Just
and
stop.
Toby told her, he was like, this is gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Or she told him, it was like, this is gonna be hard for her.
Yeah.
Like, let's just give her. And then you're in the car bombarding her. Like, what are you? Y'all just talked about this.
It was way too much. And I felt so bad for the birth mom, but I'm glad she spoke up and was like, yo, I can't. Like, just chill. I can't. I know I said that, but I can't, like I totally felt that. So I don't know. I mean, Kate took it hard.
She did, which I understand, especially because she's starting to become more aware of things with Randall. But Randall's is very different because he was a Black man growing up in a white family. So that's not the same thing. And I think she's attaching that to this unfairly. Yeah. But then also, like, give the mom some space. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that this is what you want for yourself and for your daughter, but you also need to respect the mom who, carried and birthed this child and give her the space that she needs,
Yeah. I don't know. But it was also interesting just to see the husbands doing the most, like trying, like not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say.
Randall talking about another baby after she just had. I was like, Randall,
like, sir, stop. But I love that she was like, Dairy Queen right now, and they went and they crushed those blizzards. I was like, that would be me. That is going to be me.
But she was like, I'm about to get my own blizzard. Forget you.
Yeah. It was really funny. I mean, they all had the best intentions, but it was like, y'all are doing too much. Calm down. But I mean, even Jack, I'm glad he came clean about buying the whiskey at the corner at the gas station.
Yeah.
Because I saw him book that. I was like, sir, what are you doing?
No, Jack, no.
And Mom, then had her drive home. I'm like, sir, come on now. We can do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot, but it was really good. I feel like it was a really well balanced episode. Like you said, putting a piece of everybody's story in there. It definitely kept me engaged the whole time throughout the episode. I didn't feel bored or like, it was really good.
Yeah. And then of course, they're just more questions. Who's Deja pregnant by? Yeah. Who's the guy that rolled up in the white car at the end? Or who's the person, whoever?
Yeah.
What is that going to be like later on down the line? Just more questions.
Yep.
So, and I saw somebody said something about this online too, was like, I think in one of the other future forwards that we have, or like flash forwards we had, Nikki, their uncle, was sitting next to Rebecca at her bedside, like when everybody was visiting. It was the uncle Nikki and not like Miguel. So then people were speculating what happened to Miguel. Is he there? Is he not? Maybe he passed before her. Yeah. Maybe he was in another room of the house and we just didn't see him. You know what I mean? But it was interesting that like they showed Nikki being by her side, what that would mean. So I thought that was interesting too.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many layers to this show. It's easy to like miss something.
Oh yeah. And then I'd be wondering when they film stuff, because like you have moments where Jack has a full face of beard.
Yeah.
And then you have Randall is babyface.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Same
wait,
thing.
when did they film this?
Yeah, I had the same thought because in this week's episode that we're talking about, Randall in the flashback, he was clean shaven. And then in the flash forward, he was also clean shaven. So I was like, did they film those at the same time? And
right.
then in between, he has a goatee. But yeah, I have the same thought.
That's why it's like, they've been so strategic with this storyline because they have to be with all of the like, especially with the women, you can just slap a wig on them and call it a day. But the facial hair, that's not something you can just like cover up with makeup. Like Randall's face is clean shaven.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to go back and forth between him being clean shaven and him having a beard, you have to schedule that filming and that production properly.
Yeah.
That's just my production head going.
Yeah. No, I have the exact same thoughts. I'm like, okay, so they did that. And then with COVID, like you can tell certain scenes were filmed after COVID and then they're piecing it. Like there's so much happening with on the production side. Like you said, it's interesting to see that.
Yeah. Well done. Well, like I said, this is a well done episode, I think. So
yeah.
This was episode 9. Every season so far has had 18 episodes, I think. And so we could potentially have, another 8 or so. We will see. But we hope you guys stay tuned and catch up with us when we come back for another reviewed episode of This Is Us next week. See you guys later. Talk to you later.